Guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. Today's target is to solve question number 8, and chapter what we are doing is cash book. So we are going to create a cash book out of these transactions. This is raw data which is provided by the book, and in actual practice what would happen, as an accountant you will receive such data in raw form from your organization will pay something, organization will receive some amount, organization will purchase, organization will sell, discount would be received or discount would be allowed. There are so many ways of transaction which would be provided by your organization. Just like this, it may be possible in the way of vouchers, in the way of receipts, or in any way they will be providing the information of transactions which they have done in a particular period of time, and our particular period of time is January, and these transactions are all included in the month of Jan. And what is happening, this is raw data and you are needed to convert this raw data into a usable information. There are two steps of making this raw data into usable information. First, we will convert these transactions into journal, and then we will convert that journal into ledgers. If you are combining three different ledgers, ledger of discount, cash and bank at the same time, this combination of three ledgers would be called cash book. And since we are including three elements, discount, cash and bank, that means it would be a triple column cash book. So I am going to show you the performer or the format of the question. This is first part of question where you will enter all journal entries present in shape of transaction or the raw data according to your question. So what you will do, you will see what transaction you have done, and according to that transaction you will make a journal entry following the rules of accounting. When all journal entries would be completed, you will convert these journal entries into cash book. There you have seen there are three elements involved in this cash book: discount, cash and bank on debit side, and discount, cash and bank on credit side. It means this is a dual way of converting journal entry into cash book or ledger. What you will do, you will see in which entry you will have discount, cash or bank. When you will see these elements are present in any journal entry, you will pick and will observe. For example, you are looking cash and cash is present in any transaction. You will see if cash is debit, you will choose debit side and will post in cash column. And if you will see cash is present in credit side of the journal, you will go to the credit side and will choose credit column of cash book. Rule is very simple: cash, discount and bank if present on debit side of the journal, you will post on debit side. If cash, discount or bank is present on credit side of the journal, you will post on the credit side of the cash book. Debit do debit and credit do credit. So here we have different transaction in raw form. It is raw data. First step is to convert this raw data into journal entries. So we are starting our journal entries step and we will strictly follow the dates. First date is January 1. So you will go to the journal entries and will post first date, and then you will see what is entry number 1, and that is Vakar commenced. Vakar is a name. Vakar commenced business with 4 lakh rupees. Acha, Vakar is owner of the business because he is starting the business. So Vakar commenced business with cash. You are not accountant of an owner, you are accountant of the business. So you will see what is coming into the business, not what is coming or going according to owner of the business. You will see according to business what amount is coming or what amount is going. So all accounting principles are according to direction of business, not according to the owner of the business. There is a difference. Owner is someone else. Hopefully you know that business is separate legal entity. and owner is a separate thing, business is separate thing. According to business, if sole proprietor or the proprietor or the owner is providing cash, so cash is coming in. If proprietor had started his business, as our entry is showing, commenced business, started business, it means cash is coming inside the business, so cash in hand is increasing. Increase in cash in hand should be debited, as cash in hand is your asset, asset is increasing, that is why it should be debited. So you are mentioning name of cash on debit side. Any amount which is provided by the proprietor of the business is called capital, which is liability of the business. Since capital has been increased, it means liability is increasing. Increase in liability should be credited. So you are writing capital on credit side. In this way, journal entry has been completed. Now let's see how much amount is that. So business has been started with 4 lakh rupees. So come here and write on debit side 4 lakh, and at the same time you will put same amount on credit side. This way you have completed first journal entry, and now you will see what is in second entry. Very first thing is to put the date is to, you will come over here and will post date. Okay, and second entry is saying he pays 3 lakh into the bank. Second entry, he pays 3 lakh rupees into the bank. That means cash is going out. Where it is going? Inside you, into the bank account. It means amount present in your bank account has been increased. Bank account is your asset. Amount increased in bank account mean asset is increasing. Increase in asset should be debited. So what you will do, you will show bank on debit side because it's your asset and asset is increasing. How amount had gone into the bank? Because you have paid. It means amount or the cash in hand is going out to the bank account. Cash in hand is decreasing. Cash is your asset. Asset is decreasing. Decrease in asset should be credited. So you are mentioning name of cash on credit side. It was second entry. Let's see, amount in second entry is 3 lakh. So you will put 3 lakh on debit side, and same amount you are posting on credit side of the same journal entry. This way second entry has been completed, entry number 2. Now let's see what is next entry. Number 3, he pays Wasim rupees 10,000 by check. This is our entry. He pays to Wasim by check. You are paying amount to Wasim. Who is Wasim? The person to whom amount was payable. It means he was your liability, he was your account payable. As you have paid, no matter in which form you are paying, as you will pay, your liability would be decreased. Decrease in liability should be debited. So you will write name of Wasim on debit side, which is who is your account payable, one thing. And entry number was 3, so you will put date first, entry number 3. And now we will see how we are paying in entry number 3 by check. You are paying to Wasim by check. It means cash has not been paid, rather you have issued a check. When you will give this check to your Wasim, who is your account payable, he will present this check to your bank and amount would be withdrawn from the bank. It means amount present in bank would be decreased. Bank is your asset, mean asset is decreased. Decrease in asset should be credited, so you will credit your bank account. When bank account is credited, we will see now number 3's amount, and that is 10,000. So you will mention and write 10,000 on debit side, and at the same time you will write 10,000 on credit side. This way entry number 3 is completed. Now let's see what entry number 4 is saying. This is entry number 4. Okay, put date first. We have entry number 4. Okay, entry number 4 is saying he received a check from Akbar while which he pays into the bank. This is your next entry. Receive a check from Ahsan which he pays into the bank. I think I should zoom it. He received a check from Ahsan which he pays into the bank. So check is received from Ahsan your check is received from SN. First we will see this, and the same check has been deposited into the bank. We can make two entries and we can make single entry as well. So here we are making single entry. Yeah, that means at first step he had received check from SN. This is step number 1, and on the same time, on the same day, he had deposited the check into the bank. All right. So what exactly had happened? You have received a check from your account receivable directly deposited into the bank. That means amount present into your bank would be increased. That means increase in asset. Increase in asset should be debited. So you will mention name of bank on debit side. And secondly, from whom you have received amount? He was SN. SN is the name of your account receivable, the person from whom amount was receivable. Now you have received in shape of check, amount in shape of check. Since he had paid and you had received amount from your account receivable, means he is no more your account receivable, no more your asset. Asset is decreased. Decrease in asset should be credited. So you will mention name of SN on credit side, who was your account receivable. So you are mentioning name of SN on credit side. So check received directly deposited into the bank, increase in bank, increase in asset, that is why bank is debit. Or SN was your account receivable, the person, he was your account receivable. We have received amount from him, so he is no more our account receivable, no more our asset. Asset is decreased, that is why decrease in asset should be credited. SN name is on credit side. Fourth entry's amount is 20,000. Here is from SN you have received 20,000, so you will put 20,000 over here, and same amount you will be posting on the credit side, 20,000. All right, entry number 4 is completed. Let's see what next entry is saying, and the date is 5th. He received a check, again receiving a check for rupees 12,000 from Khalid. So in previous entry you were receiving check from SN and now you are receiving check from Khalid, but difference is in first entry you have deposited that check into the bank, but now you are just receiving the check you are receiving from Khalid. All right, you have received check from Khalid, entry number 5. When you are receiving and you are not depositing that check into the bank, it means there is no role of bank over here. You have just received and haven't deposited that check into the bank. So you will say, I have received check, a sort of asset has been increased, but in accounting we do not write check. In place of check, we temporarily consider that check as cash, and it is just the reference. You can erase it or you can write it as a reference. So you have received a check, the check has not been deposited into the bank, that is why you are referring it as cash. From whom you have received this check? The name of the person was Khalid. Khalid was the person who was account receivable. You have now received amount from your account receivable. It means he is no more your account receivable. Account receivable are asset. It means asset has been decreased. When you have received amount from your account receivable, he is no more your account receivable, no more your asset. Asset is decreased. Decrease in asset should be credited. So you are mentioning the name of Khalid, who was your account receivable on credit side. In spite of this fact that Khalid was your asset, but now you have received amount, so he is no more your asset. Decrease in asset should be credited. So we named Khalid on credit side, entry number 5. And how much amount is entry number 5? This is 12,000. So you will write 12,000 on debit side, and same amount you will be posting on credit side. In this way, entry number 5 is completed. Now let's see what next entry is saying. Entry number 7. He deposited the check received from Khalid. All right, received from Khalid and now deposited. Look at it. You have already received a check from Khalid in previous entry, and now he is saying in 7th entry, that means after 2 days, you have deposited the same check which was received from Khalid now into the bank. Now please be attentive. You have received a check from Khalid and same check is going out where? Into the bank. When you are depositing that check into the bank, it means your amount present in your bank account would be increased, bank balance would be increased, bank is your asset, that means asset would be increased, increase in asset should be debited. So you will name here name of bank on debit side. Now please, I'm just requesting to be attentive again. When you have received this check, you have temporarily consider it as your cash. Now this cash is going out where into the bank, but consider it this cash is going out, it means your cash is decreasing. Decrease in cash mean decrease in asset, decrease in asset should be mentioned on credit side. So this cash we are crediting as it was your check, we have supposed it as your check is going out. In other meanings, you have temporarily considered that check as cash is going out, it means decrease in cash should be credited. So you have mentioned cash on credit side, date was 7. In this way entry has been completed. But now what amount we would write? Obviously the check which you have received was of 12,000 rupees, so same amount you will mention over here, 12,000 on debit side, and same amount you will be writing on credit side. This way your entry number 7 is completed. Here you will mention and complete it and close it by a single line. Okay, 7 entry is completed. Now let's see what next entry is saying. Next entry is number 8. He received cash from Tanveer and allows him a discount. Okay, पहले entry complete करते हैं. We have received cash. Now it's not a check, we are receiving cash from Tanveer. When you will receive cash from Tanveer, what is coming in? That is your cash. It means cash in hand is increasing. Cash in hand is your asset. Asset is increasing. So you are debiting cash on debit side because it's an asset and asset is increasing. Second very important thing is discount is mentioned over here. So we are being attentive to that aspect as well. You have received cash from Tanveer. Tanveer, who is Tanveer? You are receiving cash from Tanveer. It means Tanveer was your account receivable. He was your asset. As you have received your cash, that means he is no more your account receivable, no more your asset. Asset is decreasing. Decrease in asset should be credited. So you are mentioning name of the person from whom you have received your cash, that was Tanveer. So you are mentioning name of Tanveer on credit side. Though he was your account receivable, but now you have received the amount, he is no more your account receivable, no more your asset. Decrease in asset should be mentioned on credit side. So you have credited Tanveer. One third aspect, as I have mentioned earlier in entry number 8, was there is a discount of rupees 600. There is only one word is mentioned, that is discount, and it has not been mentioned whether it is discount allowed or discount received. So you will decide whether it is discount allowed or discount received. You are receiving cash, it means it is your authority to allow discount or not. Customer Tanveer, from Tanveer you are receiving cash, so you will allow discount. Allow discount mean it would be an expense, and since you have allowed it, so it's an expense. Expenses should be mentioned on debit side. So you are writing discount allowed on debit side, and in book amounts are mentioned. So now you will cater the amounts. Receive cash from Tanveer, this is our entry. Receive cash from Tanveer, cash is 19,400, so you will put 19,400 in front of cash. Here you have 19,400 in front of cash. And entry number 8 we are looking at, receive cash from Tanveer, and amount of discount is 600, so you will put amount of discount 600 over there. Entry is finished over there, no other information is provided. That means amount of Tanveer has not been mentioned. But here simple accounting principle will be used, and we know that debit side and credit side would always be equal. On debit side there are two amounts. What you will do, you will sum up these amount and we'll write answer of that sum on credit side, with which what will happen, both sides will be equal. So on debit side we have 19,400 and 600, you had summed up, and now you can see that debit and credit side are sides are equal. Entry has been completed, date was 8. This way we have completed entry number 8. Let's see what next entry is saying. It is 13 number, and 13 number entry is saying receive a cash from Zahir. Receive a cash from Zahir allows him a discount of rupees 1000. Just like the entry we have recently done, entry number 8 and entry number 13 is almost same. The difference is what? Receive cash in entry number 8 and receive check in entry number 13. But in entry number 13 it is mentioned that only you have received a check. The check has not been deposited into the bank. What does that mean? Keep it in mind, until and unless a check is deposited into the bank, only at that case you will mention discount, you will mention bank. Otherwise you will not be allowed to mention bank even if you have received the check. As you know that check is directly or indirectly associated with the bank account, but please I am requesting, do not mention bank account until and unless it has been deposited into your bank account. Since in this entry, that is entry number 13, you have not deposited that check into the bank, with which what is happening, you will not mention as bank account for the time being. As you have received check is your near asset because you are receiving it. Check has been received, it is your asset is increasing. You were supposed to write check, but in accounting we do not write check. In place of check, you will temporarily consider this check as your cash, and beside this you are just mentioning, we are talking about check. You may write or you may not write the word check over here. You have received this check, which we have considered it as a cash temporarily. From whom you are receiving this check? Entry number 13, the person is Zahir. Who is Zahir? Zahir was your account receivable. What word I am using? Was. Zahir was your account receivable. As you have received cash in shape of check from him, he is no more account receivable, no more your asset is decrease in asset should be credited. So you are mentioning your account receivable Zahir, on credit side. Here you are writing the name of Zahir, who is your account receivable on credit side. A third factor is also involved in this question, and you can see there is a discount of rupees 1000 is mentioned. Where you will write this discount, because in question it has not been mentioned whether it's a discount allowed or received. This is very simple. You are receiving cash, the person who is receiving has the right to decide the discount. So if you will allow discount, it means you are the person who will decide whether to give discount or not. If you have decided the discount, it means you will allow the discount. Discount allowed is an expense side is fixed, that is debit side. So you will write discount on debit side as it is discount allowed. So all left is to put the amount in this entry. So we will see in entry number 13, the first thing first is receive a check of rupees 36,000. That means amount of check was 36,000. So you will put 36,000 over here. And next amount we know in this journal entry is the amount of discount, which is 1000, as the last word of previous line is discount, and discount is 1000 rupees. So you will put amount of discount in front of discount. Though we have seen whole entry, but amount of Zahir is not mentioned over here. Amount of check is mentioned and amount of discount is mentioned, but amount of Zahir, that means amount of account receivable, has not been mentioned. For this we will use a very simple rule of accounting. Debit side and credit side will always be equal. On debit side there are two amounts. If we will be summing up these two amounts, that means 36,000, and 1000. This sum would be written on credit side, with which what will happen? Debit and credit side would be equalized. So this way we have completed entry number 13, and now we will say what next entry is saying. After 13 we have entry number 18, and this entry is saying he deposited 40,000 into the bank. That means amount has been deposited into the bank. When you are paying amount into your bank account, which means amount present in the bank has been increased. Increase in bank account mean increase in asset. Increase in asset should be debited, so you will mention the name of your bank on debit side. And how amount in bank has been increased? Because you have deposited your cash into the bank, means cash in hand is decreased. Cash in hand is your asset. Asset is decreased. Decrease in asset should be credited, so you will mention name of cash on credit side. After 13 the entry number was 18, so you will put entry date, and now you will see how much amount was deposited into the bank in entry number 18. 40,000 is mentioned, so you will write 40,000 over here, and same amount you will be writing on other side, that means credit side. This way entry has been completed. This was entry number 18. Let's see what next entry is saying to us. Entry number 19, he purchased goods for cash. This is our next entry and nothing else. He purchased goods for cash. This is our entry. When you will buy goods, what would be coming in? Goods. Goods are your near asset, mean asset is increasing. Increase in asset should be written on debit side, but we don't write goods in accounting. In place of accounting we write working. What working we are doing? That is purchase, so you will write purchase over here. Goods are unnecessary now to be written over here. It was just a reference, you can erase it. Entry number 18, it was 19, so you will put the date 19 over here. How you are buying these goods? He is mentioning it that goods are bought for cash, mean cash is going out. Cash was your asset. If it is in hand, since cash is going out, cash in hand is decreasing. Decrease in cash in hand mean decrease in asset. Decrease in asset should be credited, so you are mentioning cash on credit side. You have purchased for cash. Now let's see how much amount is for these goods, that is 6,000. So you will write 6,000 on debit side, and same amount you will be writing on credit side. 6,000 would be written on credit side. This way you have completed your entry number 19. Now let's see what next entry is saying. We are on entry number 20. He receive a check. First step is receive a check from Muzammil, allow discount. So just receiving, it's very important to know that check has not been deposited into the bank. Check is just received. And I have told you, shared your rule, until and unless check is being deposited into the bank, only in that case you will mention the name of bank. Otherwise, if check has not been deposited into the bank, you will not use the word bank. This is simple rule. If you have deposited your check into the bank, name the bank in your transaction. If you haven't deposited the check into the bank, do not write the name bank over here. So then what is happening? You are receiving a check. Check is your near asset. Asset is increasing. Increase in asset should be debited. So you were supposed to write check over here. But in accounting, we do not write check in any case. For the time being, we will consider it as cash, while in actual it's not a cash, it is just check. For the time being, for the reference, we are just considering it as your cash. You have received this check, entry number was 20, so you will put entry number 20 over here. And now you will see from whom you are receiving your check. This was your entry, receive a check 11,600 from Manzoor. So Manzoor is a person, it's just the name. Manzoor was the person from whom you are receiving your check. He was your account receivable. Now you have received the amount. It means he is no more your account receivable, no more your asset, means asset is decreased. Decrease in asset should be credited. So you will mention name of Manzoor on credit side, who was, what word I am using? Was. He was your account receivable. After receiving amount from him, he is no more your account receivable. Asset is decreased. Decrease in asset should be mentioned on credit side. Entry number 20. Is there anything else? Yes. He is mentioning the discount. and allows him discount. Here the scene has been made, we have allowed him discount. When you will allow the discount, it means it's your expense side is fixed, that is debit side. So you will write discount allowed on debit side. So this way you have your journal entry cash discount and to Mansoor. 20th entry, now we will see the amount of 20th entry. Amount of check is 11,600. So you will write 11,600 in front of check. And I'm telling you again, we do not write check in accounting. In place of check, we have used the word cash temporarily. So 11,600 was the amount of check, and the amount of discount is being mentioned over here. Amount of discount is 400. So you will write discount amount which is debited, amount is 400. But here you have seen the amount of Manzoor is not mentioned in the entry. Entry has been completed. We are doing entry number 20. You can see he received a check 11,600 from Manzoor, allowed him discount of rupees 400. So he is saying, he is explaining whole entry, but amount of Manzoor is not present. So what you will do here, you will use a very simple rule of accounting which says that debit side and credit side would always be equal. In debit side we do have two amounts, 11,600 and 400. What we will do, we will sum up these entries and we'll answer of that sum on credit side, with which debit side and credit side would be equalized. You can see that 11,600 and 400 on debit side, 12,000 on credit side. This way we have completed entry number 20, and I hope so you have understood all the entries. This will conclude our part A of this question. In part A we have completed 20th entry. We will take a short break and we will come back with second part of this question, and hopefully you will take your time to understand all of these journal entries. For the time being, just revise every entry, and when second part will be seen, you will start that part. Thank you very much.